Switching sideways, boys in the H. Paul Wall is not the only great thing in Houston. Houston, we got some problems. Charlo brothers in action last night. I think terrific fights from a boxing perspective. Boxing is coming back big time. Great year for boxing. The Charlo brothers are not the upper echelon yet, but still worthy fights. I can sit down and watch the whole fight. How did it go down? I want to talk about the two Charlo brothers fights. The first Charlo versus Tony Harrison. By the way, the first Charlo, before I even get into it, looks like he has the better movement of the two. He is very fluid. I really like Jermell. I get him wrong all the time. I may be saying the wrong one right now. But the smaller Charlo that fights at 154, let's call him that. The 154 Charlo has a better skill set than the 160 Charlo. From what I saw last night against Tony Harrison, I don't know if it's a matter of weight. I don't know if it's a matter of, I think it just may be the weight. The additional weight on the 160 Charlo caused some issues. But he fought Tony Harrison out of Detroit. And this is not no tomato can. No tomato can, guys. Okay, there's a couple. I'll get up to the 160 guy that fights tomato cans. But right now, no tomato can from Jermell 154 Charlo, and had an incredible fight versus Harrison. My first thoughts, without looking at the stats, Charlo 154 won the fight. Okay? Without looking at the stats, Charlo 154 won the fight. Okay? Was Tony Harrison beaten to death? No, but he was wobbly a couple sessions. So was Charlo, but it was more off balance on the one hit. But he was definitely wobbly at one point in the fight. Was Tony Harrison from an overhand right flung by the 154 Charlo. Okay? Then we get into the skill set of Harrison. A defensive-minded fighter from what I saw yesterday. Has a great jab. Did not use it. I love the jab on Harris. Okay, I never saw the kid before, but intriguing prospect. And he put up a pretty, well-serving fight, I think. Was good competition for the Charlo brother. But Charlo won the fight, in my opinion. I think it was maybe if you want to do it by overall, probably run it by 2 points or a point. Okay, if you're being critical. But the travesty that we heard at the end of that first fight, the travesty. Harrison won the fight, and please go watch it. It was a Fox fight. You can go watch it on YouTube. There's going to be a replay somewhere. It was Fox. It was free. The travesty of Harrison winning the fight and the score the way it was. Here goes the stats. I'm just going to give you the number. I'm going to tell you what the output. Charlo 154 landed at a higher rate than Harrison. So not only did he win from the visuals, in my opinion, I'm the stat guy. He won from a statistical perspective as well. So what were they watching? And again, I talked about this with Deontay Wilder. Is Don King around somewhere? I mean, appeal that fight, Charlo 154, and figure out a way to turn that around. That should not be a loss on Charlo 154's record. He did not lose that fight. Okay. Harrison controlled, I agree, but it wasn't decisive enough. Like I said, make it a draw. Make it a draw off anything. Okay? Harrison has some great moments. I know that if you box and it's up close, folks, when it looks like somebody's getting hit, it may not maybe hitting the gloves. It's tough to see on the TV. That may be the case, but the one wobble, but Harrison didn't do any damage as well. That's the other thing. The one hit that Charlo landed, I think was to the temple, or it may be in the back a little bit by the ear. That was it. Equilibrium jam, man. He was feeling it. He had to recover. That was enough. That was a decisive enough moment for me to say that Charlo 154 won the fight. Then you get the stats and he won the fight. So what are we talking about? All right? There should be no discussion when it's not decisive. He's near a home base. This should be his fight. That's just wrong for him not to win the fight. Let's get into the next fight, okay? So Charlo, again, I like his skill set. He has incredible movement, Charlo 154, and showed a lot of different things if people weren't watching because he's at a disadvantage. I'm going to continue a little bit. His reach is not there. He doesn't have a long reach. He has short arms. So for him to have those short of arms and Harrison to have that long of reach, I think it was a 6-inch difference. And for Jamel to get in the way he did, head movement, I really like the 154 Charlo. Maybe the better of the two. Let's get into 160-pound Charlo. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the comment section, you can't watch YouTube because it's a place for us to just talk trash for no reason. For no reason, right? You're really not going to get a truthful answer on there. People just want to talk trash. We're always biased in a way in the world, right? We always go with the hometown guy, people that we know that look like us. And what I saw last night from 160-pound Charlo was a fighter that was trying to figure out his opponent. And you say, why is that? Well, his opponent was a short notice fight. So both sides, this is what really proves an incredible boxer, is a guy that on short notice can figure his fighter out. Korobov and Charlo came in on the same plane, okay? On the same plane, neither knowing what each other could do, okay? And that's what happened in this last fight. Neither knew what each other could do, and essentially, 160 Charlo had the fight of his life yesterday versus Korobov until about the 11th and 12th round. And I think that's due to the case, obviously, short notice, not really trained for that prospect. Korobov as well, so they're at the same disadvantage. So who learns quicker? It appeared Korobov had him figure out a little bit better. The southpaw was coming over with the straight left, and near the shoulder line, gets down the shoulder line, and then he throw that left and catch him in the jaw a couple times. So, for me, I think it was a pretty even fight. I was a bit surprised by the output of the Charlo brother. I expected more from him, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it in that fight until about the 12th round. And I think the reason for that is the fact that Charlo had to figure this kid out. I mean, that was the issue. He had to figure it, not the kid, the older Korobov, 35 years old, out. Stat-wise, you're going to see him pretty even. I don't have the numbers with me. It wasn't that much of a separation. Do I think Charlo got gifted? I can't say that. I think, you could say a draw because of the punches that Korobov landed. But he's a champion. Remember that. You got to respect the champion. I agree with those terms. The fact that he's a champion and he came through in the 12th round with a near knockout. He had him on wobbly legs. Gives me the opinion that, I think that Charlo's 160 pulled it off. But it was an interesting fight because he wanted Triple G. In a way, Korobov is a Russian fighter. Does he remind me of a Triple G? In some ways. Is he a B-class fighter? His record says that. Was he off for about a year and a half? Yes. So, people say two things, right? People say ring rust, and then some people say his bones is healthy, he's ready to go. Right? Especially for a boxer, right? If he was just in the gym and nothing's like a game fight. Got it, right? Nothing's like game time. But still, I could play both sides if I wanted to. But he did. He was a year and a half, 2 years off, and last 2014, I believe, was one of his last fights. I mean, last championship fight. I think Korobov did very well, and he may be a contender. So people saying, well, he should have watched this guy. I don't know. He's 28-1. It's not like he's a loser. So I want to keep this short. I'm almost at 10 minutes. To me, Charlo barely edged it out. Is he ready for Canelo or Golovkin? I would say no. Don't fight those guys yet. But I don't know. Korobov may be a contender. So I wanted to get through it. Charlo won his fight 160. Charlo 154 lost. I think it was a travesty for 154. 160, some light touches needed, some movement work needed, some head movement work needed. It still beat out Korobov, but there's a question mark there. And until we see Korobov fight somebody else, we would really not know what Korobov is made of at this point. 35-year-old Korobov, he may be smarter, he may have got stronger in some areas, but right now, based upon who he's fought previously, a lot of question marks for Canelo and Golovkin going, why should I fight Charlo? He barely got through Korobov. So, interesting fight, great night, and I'm happy for fighting all four sports. I'm out. Peace.